Hey, this is Jade Robertson checking in on a Tuesday night. Welcome to another Wildfire live stream with Nicholas Jensen.
Don't you dare leave me out. Hey everyone, let's
You and me, we come from different worlds. You like to laugh at me when I look at other girls. Sometimes you're crazy, you wonder why. I'm such a baby cause the dolphins make me cry. Well, there's nothing I can do, looking for a girl like you. Nick, sing it.
Is this the okay? You're a little left to see. I'll only pout at you until I get my way. I won't dance, you won't sing. I just wanna love you, but you want to wear my ring. Well, there's nothing I can do. I only wanna be with you. You, Jade.
You, Nick.
Just you.
You, Nick. Yeah! Well, there's nothing I can do. I've been waiting for a guy like Greg.
Thank you everybody for coming on here. It's another one in the books. Well, Jade, we have some updates here at the Wildfire live stream studio space here.
Absolutely.
Talk about a little bit about what's behind me and how you kind of First of all, cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, everyone. Hope you're having a good beverage and chat. But what's going on in this space? It's a little different tonight.
So, as you can see, we have the motivation, and then we have the inspiration, and then right here's the perspiration. And, we're just getting, we're starting to write a little bit more. We had a bit of a writer session.
Developing some projects.
Last week. Sorry. And, so I've got two projects in the works. One is kind of a pilot that I'm trying to develop into a bit of a series. It's based on a feature I wrote called Back to Basics, which Wildfire's own Jason Terrio read and got some great thoughts and notes back to me.
Well, a bit of a feature that's turned into a bit of a pilot. Kind of like retooling. So
retooling and looking at character development and seeing what we can sort of expand and create into maybe a 6-part mini movie, kind of more so than a 6 or more than a 2-hour long feature, because there's just a lot of stuff to try and stuff in there and the timing of things and stuff. And then there's Portals, which is the exact opposite, which is quick and just like a shorter short form version of content, like a 11 to 14 minute per episode. Kind of like sketch, but also absurd sort of scenes that kind of are kind of out there. And there's certainly a vehicle for me to express my creative juices from the real world that I walk around in and real characters that are there, and then taking details and just pushing
absurd aspects of your own life,
and just pushing them to their absurdest, weirdest, and also hopefully funny, because it's just hopefully some of it will be a little bit relatable, but some of it might not be relatable at all.
No.
But exciting nonetheless.
Yes, and I'm helping out, developing, and wherever I can lend
a great co-writer to have on these projects, and potential co-director as well.
Hey. Yo! What's up, guys?
Hey,
what's up, my man?
Let me push this back a bit and just kind of, there we go.
Oh.
Notes up better. There we go. That works. How you guys doing?
Welcome back to the live stream. Right?
Well, thank you very much. It's been a while. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Everything I still remember.
Yeah. Pardon?
I said, it's been a while.
It's nice to see you two back together again in the same, in the same abode.
It's nice. I've been welcomed.
Life.
Jade has barely spent any time.
Busy man. He's a busy man.
Busy man.
But hey, we at least get to get this live stream. So.
What's been going on? How are things going for you?
They go. I mean, you know, it's been a busy couple of weeks, even though I haven't been doing a ton of work actually on the film. I've been doing a lot of learning and a lot of done some tutorials, and I've just been kind of really digging into the nuts and bolts of the visual effects process,
We love
so
it.
that thanks. Um, so that I really have a good, solid foundation for the practical aspects of how to bring everything together. And we're getting there. But by this weekend, I'll have a little bit of work done on the film, and I think I've got a pretty good handle on exactly how all the elements are going to come together from a practical standpoint rather than just a theoretical standpoint right now. So,
Nice.
other than that, I don't know. I've been trying to relax a little bit. They've got, I don't know if I should say this, but they pulled a bunch of us on the government into the queue that handles the booking for the provincial vaccines. So I've been doing that and actually talking to the general public for a few days now. So that's been an interesting change. But, you know, just kind of living life and going on walks and working on the film and studying and working and all that normal stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, normal. What in general, uh, generally speaking, about like working in the public?
Sorry, what about working with the general public? I didn't hear the question. I didn't hear the whole question.
Yeah, like what can you
There
speak
was
about? What generally can you speak about in regards, generally speaking about, to the general public?
I don't know. It's I guess an honor to be able to help get all this stuff rolled out and make sure that people are getting in for the vaccinations they need, and just kind of do my part to make all of this happen as best I possibly can. I don't know. Most people are pretty nice, though. I'm pretty easy to talk to on the phone. I talked to people for a long time before I started doing the job that I'm doing now, so I got that down. It's not that bad. Nobody's been angry, which has been great. I mean, I've seen in the chat that goes by that people are dealing with some people who are not necessarily all that happy with the situation, but everybody I've spoken with has been great. It's wonderful.
Well, I just Nick and I, so the live stream tomorrow for Rob Brunner, and been looking at his and Harding's work, and we watched this movie called Latched, a short film
Okay.
they made. Barry, a little baby finds in the forest, and then everything all happens though around one location of a woods. And Nick was just like, man, it would be just so much fun to go back to Tom Ray and shoot a horror.
A horror at Tom Ray, eh? You know, that might be possible. I've always wanted to make a horror movie. Oh my god, that's on the list. That and a sci-fi and a space movie and a road movie, and there's a few different genres that I want to make. But
That's enough.
Combine them all.
No, no.
hey, I've got ideas for all of them, but that's for another day. Have you seen any good films lately before we get going, other than that short you were talking about? Because I've seen a few.
Oh, I saw right before I came back. I saw Judas and the Black Messiah.
That is one I haven't seen yet. That's one of the ones on the list. One of the few. I've seen more than half of them now.
Right. I saw Sound of Metal as well, which was by far the best movie, in my opinion. So
See, you've seen the ones that I haven't seen. What else?
really, well, I've Promising Young Woman, which
I loved Promising Young Man.
That was fantastic. Yep.
I want to become a promising young man.
and Minari is
Minari was very good. That's what I watched on the weekend. That was excellent.
yeah. So I'm just working my way through. As I try to do, but it's harder because usually I would have been theaters already. So like either finding ways to rent them or just different services. It's just all.
So, give us the update.
The update, like on the film.
On the film.
All right. So we've worked through, over the past few months, we've worked through the second edit. And then you and me and Adam and Rain all conferred one day on the phone and just kind of gave our thoughts and talked about it and gave up all of our notes. We then went back and started going through a third edit to cut it down. We need to cut, 15 to 20 minutes out of the film to get it down to the length we want to get it to. So we've cut almost 3 minutes out of the last about 12 minutes of the film. So we're making good progress. I put that on hold about a month ago. To start really digging in on the practical aspect of the visual effects, but probably in a couple of weeks we're going to get back at that. Just cut it down and trim the fat, and it's at this point it's a lot of stuff between when people are talking. Yeah, I know. I got some here too, but
I'll look at my
it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff between when people are talking, spaces, cutting out a little bit of dialogue here and there that doesn't work. Just we're finding lots of things to cut, which is great, because I really want to get this down to around 100 minutes if we can. Maybe a little shorter, maybe a little less than that, but 100 minutes maximum.
You can release the 4-hour Holmes.
The 4-hour Holmes cut? Am I going to pull a Zack Snyder here? Is that what's going to go on? But somebody else would have to finish the movie first, and then I'd have to come back at it.
Get away from
you too?
And then 4 years cut.
Let's be honest. I don't think anybody wants to see a 4-hour cut of Wildfire. As much as I love the film, can you imagine trying to fill 4 hours?
Make this whole feature. So I mean, you know,
the shoot was 4 hours.
The shoot was 12 hours and 4 hours. The Wildfire trilogy.
No, definitely.
The Wildfire trilogy. Where do we go from there?
How would you like to segue into?
Sure. Okay. So tonight on the show, Jade and Nick are going to be interviewing the one and the only Victoria Kyoko. Working with Victoria was fantastic. I've known her for a few years now. We've made contact in local community theater here in Niagara, and it was a great experience to work with her on the film. She really became a part of our family up there. She really kind of just melded into the group, and she brought something really different than had originally been, written in the screenplay of the character of Beth. And she brought a lot of her own personality and a lot of her own uniqueness to the role, and really made it her own. And it was pretty cool to see her, I mean, along with everybody else, but really bring that character to life. And she was fun to hang out with up there, and it was overall a very good experience. It's been really nice. It's been nice knowing Victoria, both personally and professionally.
Slapping Nick and I.
You're cutting out, sorry?
Nothing.
So I wanted to first off say, if I haven't already, which I probably have, thank you so much, Victoria, for helping bring this film to life. And it's going to be a pleasure to hear whatever you have to say tonight. I'm interested to know what's going on, both professionally, personally. Hopefully you bring up and you talk a little bit about one of my personal interests, which is physics and science, and maybe a little bit of theoretical physics and stuff in there too, if you've got a couple of questions based around that, or if you just wanted to, talk about that for a bit. But it should be fun. Victoria is a wonderful actress and a wonderful person.
And you're a wonderful guy.
I try.
Well, thank you.
Well, thank you for your wonderful words.
Yeah.
Wonderful work.
Why am I always so...
You gotta get closer.
I can't. I don't want to get too close.
Y'all gotta cuddle.
Contact tracing.
Contact.
Come on, cuddle.
Okay. Other news, Greg. I'm not in other news. In the same news.
Great work.
Keep up the great work. Doing a heck of a job.
I try. It's taken a little longer than I'd initially anticipated, but I think we're all going to be pretty happy with the results when we're done.
Final cut. Effects in 3 months. See you then.
Bye.
I don't actually know. I updated Instagram here, so I don't know what. No, I'll just ask.
Thank you, Greg.
Thanks, Greg.
Thank you, guys. Looking forward to a good show.
I don't know how to get rid of the people. Bye. All right.
Oh, hey, Victoria, how you doing?
Back? What?
Okay.
It's so good to see you kids again. Oh my goodness. What, a year and a half? Wow.
Greg, can you just...
Greg, you look so different. See, I'm used to seeing you from behind, on the other side of the camera. Oh my goodness. I can barely hear you guys though.
Turn the volume up on the phone. I have the same problem. You can't talk at the same time.
I did. My volume was all the way up. Ooh.
We didn't know we could have this many an Instagram live stream, so this is just a
well, we're making history then.
This is a shock to us all. Can we
That's pretty cool.
Well, there was no X arrows.
I think we're in a room. We're in a live room.
Ooh.
That's cool. This opens
technology.
Up so many
I don't do technology.
I don't know how to take you out that yourself.
How to take me out? Let me see if I can take myself out. I don't. I might have to leave unless you can boot me. I don't know.
I don't
Click on your little screen here.
I don't understand this.
Apologies, folks.
Apologies for this.
This is a precedented moment.
We didn't know we could do this. Yeah, just Greg. You know.
Yeah. Love and here, wait, maybe at the top here.
Oh, remove.
Hi, Greg.
Bye.
No cut.
Love you, brother. Okay. All right.
And he's gone. Oh, good. We can talk about him now.
How are you?
How you boys doing?
We're doing well.
We're well.
It's good to see you guys in the same room.
I know.
Usually one of you had to cut out before.
Yep.
It was.
It was that for a while, yeah.
I had to work a lot more. He got the nights off. I had to keep going.
Well, I helped with the planning, but Jay did the brunt of the interview work, he's a champion.
Oh my goodness.
So, how are you? How have you been?
Generally not too bad. As you can see, I'm still playing around with the wigs, although my hair is no longer blue underneath. For those of you who don't know the backstory to that, I ended up wearing a wig to play Beth because I had an unfortunate dying accident prior to going up to shoot, and my hair turned bright blue, which was very, very cool, but not very good for playing Beth. So,
That's it.
wig was.
The wig was not always.
Sorry?
The wig wasn't always part of the plan.
It was not part of the plan. The initial plan was for me to dye and cut my own hair to do that. But it decided to do something totally different. So in the last couple of days before coming up, I went out and had to find old Bethy here. and it seemed to work.
Yeah.
But, oh my goodness. But it's been a while since I've had her on, so I'm going to have to take her off because she's really hot.
Nice to see you for a moment.
Bye, Beth.
Bye, Beth.
Hi, Victoria.
And Victoria's here.
Hey,
Hi, everybody.
we spoke briefly to you in our holiday special.
Yes, you did.
How was your 2020, and how have you been holding up?
My 2020 was interesting, to say the least. A lot of things happened. A lot of stuff happened in my personal life. I ended up moving a couple of times. A number of things happened. Oh, and you know, COVID on top of everything else. So I was unemployed for about 8 months, and so that was different. I spent a lot of time indoors.
Yeah.
Which, as an introvert, I actually didn't mind so much. You know, I could be by myself. I could read. I could do what I wanted to for the most part. I just couldn't leave the house.
No.
But, you know, we all made it through. And I got back to work just before Christmas, and, you know, a couple of projects here and there. And, you know, still going strong.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to get ready to fire because I don't hesitate. What is your favorite word?
My favorite word? That's hard to say. Probably yes.
Ooh, that's an interesting question.
Yeah, because it opens up so many doors and so many opportunities and so many interesting things come out of saying yes.
What is your least favorite word?
Hmm. Don't really have a least favorite, but there are a couple that are up on the list for me. Like most women, moist is one of them. So, yeah. Thank you, JT, for putting that into all of our lexicon.
What sound or noise do you love?
Gotta love the purring of a cat. That's one of my favorite. It's very soothing.
Yep. What sound or noise do you hate?
Nails on a chalkboard. For sure.
That's one good thing with the eradication of chalkboards.
Just want to engage.
Yeah, but the thing is, you scrape a fork across the plate, it makes the same type of noise. Sets my teeth on edge. Can't stand that.
I want to shout out a few people in the messenger here. Just my mom, the messenger here in the comments section. My mom, Mudgirl3, has entered, as well as I think stand-up comedian Dylan Connolly says, "You're the whitest white people I've ever seen in my life, and I'm pretty free white myself."
Hey, I'm only half white.
There you go.
Does that count?
Yeah, that counts. What profession? What profession rather than your own would you like to attempt?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. You cut out there.
What profession, rather than your own, would you like to attempt? Although you have done a lot of professions. So
I have done a lot of stuff in my time. So, what haven't I done? That's hard to say. I really don't know, because I'm willing to pretty much give anything a go.
Right. Is there something you haven't tried yet that you're like looking to try though? That is like on the radar, on the bucket list or something like that?
I don't really know.
All already.
I'm gonna have to pass on that one, I guess.
That's fair. That's a good answer. I don't think anybody's ever passed on that one, so that's not.
Because there are a lot of things that I have tried and discovered I'm definitely no good at. There are some things that I've tried and I've realized I'm actually good at, but I wouldn't be able to do it for a living.
Right.
But I'm always interested in new things. There's always something new to try.
Of course. I love that.
If God exists, what would you like to hear him say at the pearly gates?
Welcome, which would surprise the hell out of me because I'm pretty sure I'm going to the other place.
Fair enough. What's your go-to karaoke song?
I don't have a go-to. That's the problem. I've done karaoke for so long. I've been a singer for well over 40 years. I have a huge repertoire, so it's basically whatever people ask me to sing first.
Right.
That's kind of my go-to.
What's your favorite style to sing?
I have no favorite style per se, because again, I've done it all. I've done R&B, I've done country, I've done rock and roll, I've done heavy metal, I've done opera, I've done music theater, I've done everything in between.
Awesome.
So,
is there anything you would never want to try again? For a food that
the one thing I'm not particularly good at is sales.
Oh.
I don't like trying to convince people to do things. And I have done it in the past. I don't like it. I'm not particularly good at it either.
Right.
So that's one of the things I've generally had problems with over the years, which means marketing myself becomes very difficult. As an actor, that's a bit of a hindrance. So thank you for doing stuff like this, because it's a way to get things out.
As our Q&A continues,
our own Mark Matthews in the chat has asked about
Oh no. Gregorian chant, I have done that too.
Oh!
I have.
You tried to get her, but you've done it all.
How did you and Greg originally, or how did you guys connect via the theater scene? And do you have any good Greg stories? Any good Greg stories?
Unfortunately, no, I don't, because Greg and I never actually worked together in a theater setting. We've been involved with the same group, so we've hung around in the same circles. I think the first time I actually met Greg, though, was when he was filming Ice Cream Sunday. And I came out to do a little background stuff for him. And since then, we've hooked up through Garden City Productions and a couple of other places. And so it's nice to see him when he does go on stage. But usually I'm in the audience for those shows. So one day, Greg, we will be on stage together, whether he wants it or not.
Getting a little bit into the Niagara theater scene in general, how long have you been involved, and what are some of your favorite shows you've done over the years?
In Niagara, you mean? Because I've done theater all over Southern Ontario. Trying to think. I've been involved in Niagara theater since I came here from Toronto in about 2002.
Right.
So shortly after that, I became involved with the local community theaters, and auditioned for a number of different things. Didn't actually get involved with an actual show for a couple of years, because I was still settling. I was getting to know the place and exploring Niagara and really enjoying everything about it. But since then, I've been involved with Garden City Productions. I've been involved with Fire Hall Theatre in Niagara Falls. Been involved with Port Colborne Operatic Society, with Canal Side Players in Welland. There was also a number of different shows that happened out of the Port Mansion Theatre in Port Dalhousie while that was still alive and functioning. Unfortunately, the building is no more, which is too bad. And there's always lots of little small projects here, there, and everywhere that are always fun to do. Always fun to do.
Well, I guess before you came to Niagara then, because that was fairly recent in the grand scheme, where did you
20 years, yeah.
get your start in theater? Where was that? Toronto or?
My very first role probably was in grade school. I was, I think, either in grade 1 or grade 3. I was a Raggedy Ann doll in one of those Christmas plays that you put on. And, after that, it was, dance recitals and church performances, that sort of thing. I did a lot of singing as a child. Later on into high school performances, in plays, in comedies, in musicals. Did some work in the community theater in Etobicoke, which is where I grew up. So with a couple of different organizations there, stretched out and became involved with the semi-professional circuit in Toronto. So I worked for a couple of professional companies there, and eventually came to Niagara and ended up getting more work here than I ever did in Toronto at the time. So go figure.
I'm curious a little bit about just performing in all these different communities, and also just talking us through the life of a performer and going from location to location. That's whole experience and building up these connections, not just with other performers, but with I guess the people in the audiences that are coming to these shows in each different place, and the different crews that work on these productions. Just take us a little bit through what that's like and building a career of that.
Well, to some extent, especially being a performer, you tend to be a bit of a gypsy. You tend to wander around from place to place where the next job is. And that's a little less so on the technical side of things. So a lot of production crews have a tendency to stay fairly close to home or home base. The difference seems to be in film and television. In that case, the film crew moves to wherever the job is. But it is very, very interesting getting to know people in different organizations. Because every production is like a family. Yep. After a couple of weeks of being in such close proximity, you get to know people very well and very intensely over a very short period of time. And when you're kind of forced to share that closed space for such a short period of time, you develop this real bond with them. And I certainly felt that with all of you guys. 10 days in the woods with a cabin or a couple of cabins. And, we instantly became very, very fast friends. And I wouldn't trade that for the world. But it's like that in pretty much any production, whether it's a film, whether it's a stage show, whether it's a music concert, same type of thing. It's a very close, tight-knit family who works together towards that end product and to get the best possible product that they can. And everybody has a part, everybody has a role, everybody has a job to do. And the key is to let people do what they do best. And, try not to step on each other's toes.
Or hands.
True.
Or bonk them in the
How did we're getting a few buffering issues, but that's we'll buffer through. How did you get involved with Wildfire? I guess, like, how did you hear about the project?
I believe it was a call that Greg had put out. He was looking for auditions for the various roles. I didn't know too much about it going into it, met Greg at the audition site. We did a screening test, and basically I just did a quick cold read in front of the camera, and he must have liked what he saw or heard anyway, and we kind of went from there. It was a very, very easy, very quick process, and it was just a matter of, okay, well, I'll just put it out there and see what happens, which is kind of how I'm going through life right
now. So you played Beth, Dark of the family. What were your first impressions of Beth read the script?
Well, initially, she comes across as very hard-headed, I guess would be the word. She knows what she wants and she knows what she likes to see. She likes control over the family, over her environment, over anything that she can possibly get her little fingers into. And as I read more into the character, I realized she could be very, very complex. There's a lot of backstory to Beth that is revealed throughout the script, in small little bits and pieces, that you realize that she's been through a lot more than she's letting on. She's hiding a lot of stuff from everybody. And I tried to internalize that and give Beth a reason for doing everything that she does and saying everything that she does, and the animosity that she shows towards her daughter in particular, because they really go at it head to head for a while. But it was interesting. The best characters are real people, and real people are not two-dimensional. Well, most people are not two-dimensional, so I'd like to think that I could bring that three-dimensionality to Beth, kind of one step beyond what was on the page. Absolutely. Make her real.
Well, what was it like constructing your backstory and getting into, I guess, just the body and mind, and I guess your approach to being Beth? What's that like?
Well, I internalized a lot of it in the sense that I could see a lot of character traits that either I myself have or I experienced growing up, and through observation of other people, I can see, how the thought process, how the mind might work. And especially when it came to, say, the argument scene between Beth and her daughter, Beth and Julie. They really go at it in the kitchen during one scene, and it gets nasty. And I basically channeled all of the anger that I had fighting with my own parents when I was a teenager living in the house. So a lot of that, that battling element came directly out of that. The feelings were all there, so I just kind of let them out. Although it was a little spooky when I was watching the dailies with you guys, and we saw the scene afterwards, and I was a little taken aback by hearing my mother's voice come out of my mouth. Because it was all the arguments that she used to use against me when I was a kid. And now I'm seeing it from the other side.
Right. Well, we kind of had a question about that as well, about what was it like, because at the end of the day, we'd all kind of review the dailies together. What was it like watching those and kind of being able to see and review your performance on a day-to-day basis?
Well, that's the thing. Being a stage actor, I generally hate watching myself on camera. Because I'm always picking apart my own performance. I'm always saying, oh, there's something I could have done better. I should have, tilted my head this way or caught the light that way or said this in a different way. So it's interesting to watch the dailies, but at the same time, it's a little cringy for me. It's worth it, though, because then you can actually see what the camera sees, and then you can see Greg's take on things and the way, Jade set up the shot, that type of thing. It becomes, you see more of the creative process and the collaborative creative process that goes on. It's not just me up there. It's not just myself and the other actors. It's everybody combining together to make that work. And it's interesting to watch that develop.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I had never shot a feature myself before this, and I felt that watching the dailies every day, not just for like a sense of just where we were at in the story and making sure we were getting everything so from scene to scene it would make sense, which it was extremely important for, just that continuity, but it was also just important for continuity and literally being able to look at everything. You need to be able to look at everything, to spot errors, to spot things to change, to reshoot scenes and everything. So I just, like, it was extra work, and I'm a bit of a workaholic, so I like working after I'm done work anyway, like we're working right now. So it's just like, I like just keeping it going and then, going to bed and just being like, that was a good day. So I did feel like the reviewing of the dailies was a continuation of those days of work, but it was like, it was really solid work, because then we'd go into the next day thinking like, we got a lot of great stuff in the can yesterday. We need to go out there today and do even better, and we did sort of get better every day, I felt like, too. So that was really good. And I mean, not to say that, those earlier days are poorly filmed or anything, but there was an aspect of getting into our rhythm and figuring it out and getting really comfortable and into a good rhythm.
Yeah, I think you're right, though, that there's a rhythm that you get into after watching the dailies on a regular basis, because you can see where everybody's timing is, even when it comes to things like yelling cut. You can kind of predict that after a while when that's going to happen, and so you anticipate it. And yeah, it's interesting. I kind of miss those evenings sitting around there with drinking our adult beverages and sitting around as the sun went down over the lake and watching these dailies after putting in a couple days of work.
Well, we knew it was working because like Sam's crying behind, and like there's real emotional responses going on just to watching the dailies. So there was
absolutely
a really good aspect of we were feeling it. And I'll ask another one. Well, this was your question, so it was how did you find balancing sympathetic with the more antagonistic parts of Beth's personality in the family dynamic? Kind of like a foil for Julie, but at the end of the day, you got to feel something for her, which you did quite well. What was it like balancing both of those sides of
that? I personally didn't find it particularly hard to balance. Again, every character has multiple sides to them, and in every situation, it's just a matter of reacting honestly to the character.
Right.
The character would have different feelings at different times depending on what particular situation that they're in. Deep down, Beth loves her family. She really does. They get in each other's faces and they might push each other's buttons a lot, but deep down, they're family. and you do what you have to keep your family together and to keep your family safe more than anything. And ultimately, you do want um, you do want something better for your kids than you have yourself. Sorry, I'm seeing buffering on you guys. I'm not sure if that's you or me. Kind of hear you guys. Is that me or is that you?
I've turned off my my Wi-Fi and I'm on data, so maybe that's better. Nick,
Yes.
Can you hear us, Victoria?
Yes, I can hear you now.
So
Can you hear me?
Yes. So we talked about this a little before, but you were also largely responsible for crafting the look of Beth with your own hair that you brought with you. And just want to get into a little bit of the daily routine of putting your own hair and makeup together. And first of all, how was the wig to wear during the scene? Because you did wear it for most of the day. So how did you feel with that? You mentioned it was warm, so.
Well, I mean, you get used to it after a while. It is a little warm because it's like wearing a little bit of layer of fur on top of everything else you're wearing. But after a while, you kind of forget you have it on, and it's just a bit of a process first thing in the morning, especially after just getting up and you're stumbling around. You just had a shower, you barely had coffee, and you're trying to create this look, and more importantly, try to recreate the look every day of filming, because continuity, that was very important. I had a whole list of different scenes and what Beth would be wearing for each scene, depending on what day it was supposed to be, because you do, of course, shoot things out of order based on the availability of the site and the different facilities. So a lot of times we were shooting the same location, but we'd be filming 2 or 3 different camera days effectively. So we'd have to go back and change halfway through, and then remember, oh wait, I have to, my hair has to be a little messed up because I'd just been through this, or I tore a sweater on something like that, so I have to make sure that this looks a little scummy. All sorts of things like that. It's, again, continuity. And you guys were great for keeping on us about continuity. And of course, you had the playback to help you out, help guide you with stuff like that. But we were relying a lot on notes and a lot on memory, which, as I'm getting older, is getting a little more difficult every day.
I want to segue, I think, slightly to take a rewind, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Like for you, not reading just Beth, but what was your, what were your feelings about the script when you first read it the whole way through, just on a story basis, and reading Wildfire by Adam Grekel?
It was interesting. I really, really enjoyed it. It was not a typical family drama. It was not a typical disaster action film. It was a little bit of everything. I think what got me was that it was an atypical family drama that happened to be in the middle of this great big disaster, where you don't actually see a lot of the disaster happening outdoors, but you certainly see it developing indoors. And that's what made it interesting to me. And I wanted to learn more about these characters, more about the relationships between them, how they got to this stage, where were they going to go after this. All around, just a very well thought out script, with some good dialogue, some very poignant scenes, some very dramatic scenes. Some little funny scenes too, because that's always important. And it was a good read, and I knew it would be a good view as well. So hopefully if we can get this done, then everybody will get to see this.
What was your favorite part about the experience of living with the entire cast and crew up at Tom Ray Lodge and being around each other basically the whole time with like very time for ourselves? Very interesting.
Well, I hate to be the stereotypical mother figure here, but the food, just the concept of all of us being able to sit down together as a large group. I mean, there were what, 10, 12 of us at the most, something like that, because we were all falling in and out of the cabin. Depending on what day it was. Certain people had to leave early, certain people came later. But we would all gather together to eat together, and that was important. It helped bond us as a group. We got to relax, we got to be ourselves, and not worry about the upcoming deadlines, not worry about any drama that might have happened on the set. We could just leave it all there and just sit down, enjoy each other's company, and relax. It was wonderful.
Good point. Food was always very important, like, you know, moment and recharge and
Breathe.
yeah.
Food is the social glue that holds society together. I firmly believe that.
I think that's what got me through 2020 is food.
Food is the glue that holds society.
Yeah.
Speaking up, no. Just wanted to reiterate Greg's in the comment session. In the comment, we're getting the film done. So, just
yay!
His word.
Just we reiterate.
Yes.
Greg has made a call.
Yeah.
But yeah, Nick has some other questions about.
Okay, so who was the most annoying on set, and why was it Jade?
Well, because it's Jade.
One more take.
I mean, look at him.
Love him. Oh no, that was just a fun.
Not only was he like the consummate workaholic, but he also had a bit of a perfectionism element to him. He wasn't going to rest until he got it right. Damn it.
I mean, I wish I could go back and do more takes. No, I feel like the first 7 days of shooting, I was an insane person, and in the last 7 days, I was like a monk. So I felt like just the contrast there was insane. It was intensity, the action and stuff, and then I felt like I was able to relax a bit as we went into the second week of shooting. That was really
yeah.
A lot of those scenes were really nicely finessed later on too. We didn't need as many takes. I didn't need as many takes.
That's right. Yeah. Well, I know the action scene outside was one of the big ones that we were all worried about, and you could tell that both you and Greg were very stressed about how you were going to get this in the can. And it was a long night, a long night, but I think it'll work great after just seeing the dailies. Never mind adding effects and all the stuff that will just enhance it even more. But it was powerful stuff. Absolutely. You guys did a great job.
Thanks, Victoria. You're our number one fan. Like, you were an amazing person to have as a support. I mean, obviously on camera, and playing Beth is incredible. But like all of the candid photography you took and the behind the scenes stills that have really given us a really solid boost throughout this whole campaign of Wildfire has been awesome. So
good. I'm glad they're useful, because I love taking all the behind the scenes stuff. It's interesting, but also because I like to archive things, the stuff kind of needs to be documented, because later on you're going to look back on it, and you're going to want to look back on it and remember all the little silly things that happened, and all the little quirks and just.
So you took a lot of photos of the behind the scenes stuff that we were doing, but we also took a lot of photos of just stuff around that location of Tom Ray. So what struck you about that location?
Oh, it was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I mean, Northern Ontario is always a fabulous looking place to begin with, but Tom Ray was a particularly nice location. It was on the rocks above the lake. The weather was perfect. It was end of September, early October, so all the trees were just starting to turn color, and but it was still warm enough that you could sit outside in a t-shirt, maybe a sweater if you had to, and it was just lovely. All the things that you would traditionally associate with the wilds of Canada and being able to cottage in Canada. That's exactly what it felt like. It was very comfortable. I don't get to go to cottages very often, so I really, really enjoy it when I do. And being able to spend 10 days up there with you guys was fabulous.
Vacation.
It was so.
It was worth.
It was a little vacation, and because I was going through so much stress and change at home, I really needed those 10 days away. It helped a lot. It helped my own mental state. It was just a break from everything, which is effectively why you go to the cottage in the first place, is because you want to get away for a bit.
Why we do
and yeah.
It's a good way to get away. Nick,
Yes.
go ahead.
Well, okay, so forming bonds with the cast and the crew early on in the shoot, how did these bonds translate to a chemistry that helped get this film made, both on screen and off as well? Like, mainly on, I suppose.
Well, the closeness that we all felt just from being in proximity with each other for so long, it added to that family element, certainly between the cast members. It was important that we felt like a family who has been together for a long time. We've grown up in each other's presence, so we have to be very comfortable with each other physically and socially. We have to feel like we can express ourselves in front of each other, and not hold back. We all have our own little quirks and our own ways of approaching things, so we're very conscious of that around each other, and that translates to what shows up on camera. The animosity between Julie and Beth, the obvious affection that Beth has for William, even though he's not technically he's kind of family. He's family by marriage. That's close. But she loves William, and I'm not really sure why. Maybe he's the son she never had, or something like that.
He loves Ron.
Yeah, that's true. This is very true. But she hates Grandpa.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mark.
Sorry, Mark.
Sorry, Mark. You're just in the outs.
Well, let's do a quick commercial break. This is your opportunity to shout out any of the Wildfire fans, and also anyone else who might be watching, or anybody you just want to shout out.
Oh my goodness. A shout out to everybody, I guess, because I noticed some people are in the feed and watching. Unfortunately, I can't scroll all the way through that to find your actual names, but because I'm a bit of a technophobe here, I'm not really sure exactly how any of this works.
We've got Mark and Jason both in here, so we can.
Oh, good. Yes, and I know Greg is around.
Yep.
But yeah, and I haven't seen them in a while, but Rain is doing her thing, and Samantha, I'm sure, has been in touch with you guys.
Yeah, we gotta see more often, though. We gotta find ways to get together and do stuff. I'm sorry for
call, maybe.
Yeah, I'm sorry for canceling the pool party. Yeah, we should do a call. We should definitely do a call soon.
Yes.
Jason is here.
Jason is here.
Jason. Hey, Jason.
And Greg is here.
Too.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
For every last.
Yeah, he's got it in his contract. We have it in his contract.
Yeah.
Back to the shooting. What were some of the most memorable scenes you remember shooting?
Well, the two large scenes that I was involved in. One was the blow up in the kitchen, which was basically a fight between Julie and Beth, while Robert, Richard Nestor, was sitting at the table, listening to this blow up and taking it all very personally. it was a very strong emotional scene. It's a very pivotal scene in the film, and once you see it, you'll understand why. That was a very long and tough shoot, and because there was so much emotion involved from everybody, it was exhausting. I mean, we all just slept like rocks after that. The other fairly major scene was a rescue scene at the very, very end of the film where Beth goes into the fire. She actually goes back into the fire to rescue a bit of memorabilia that she holds a lot of value to, and nobody knew that she held such value for this type of thing. But she reveals a lot about her own character in that scene. It was very intensive, again, very, very emotional, and there was a lot of physical involved in that one as well. But one of the most memorable scenes I remember that will always stay with me, I wasn't even involved in. I was inside the house. You guys were all filming outdoors, and it was a scene where Richard Nestor goes outside as Robert, and Rain and I believe it was Chris try to haul him back. He's basically running out into the fire outdoors, and he's in great emotional pain. And it was just a fabulous, fabulous, very dramatic scene. Richard did an amazing job, but so did Rain and Chris. There was just so much emotion in that. Samantha and I were indoors watching everything out of sight, but through all the smoke and the fog that you guys had flooded the area with. And we were crying our eyes out. It was horrible.
Right.
We were just, we were thinking, thank God we don't have to shoot any scenes after this because we look like a mess. And then we saw the dailies, and we did it all over again. So, but that was probably my favorite scene to see being shot.
Nice. Well, all scenes have their own challenges in a way. What was it like with a feature of this magnitude and the time frame we were in? Just the sheer amount of scenes we had to shoot every day. As an actor, how did you keep up the stamina to go, through all these different emotional states every day, no days off? We did a lot of scenes per day. So
yeah, we did. How did we get through it? Alcohol, lots and lots of alcohol.
Responsibly.
No, seriously, we got a lot of sleep when we could. And we knew that this was a relatively short-term project. It was 10 days for myself filming and a number of the principals, but some of you guys were up there for a full 14 or 15 days. But that was the end of it. So we knew that it might be hell for 5-6 days in a row. We'll get a bit of rest, and then we'll do it all again. But then afterwards, we can go home and we can sleep for a year. So, and to some extent, that's kind of like, for me, doing a theater production, where the week before the show opens is traditionally called Hell Week, because you don't sleep for the entire week. There is so much to do, all the last-minute preparations, all that sort of thing. So between rehearsals and fittings and costumes and transporting sets and making sure everything's in place and all that stuff, nobody gets any sleep. Everybody's testy. Towards the end of the week, everybody's just a little bit punchy, and then it opens and everybody can just relax. And that's kind of how this felt. 10 days of intensity, and then everybody can just chill out afterwards.
Absolutely. I'm curious, as an actor, what were some of the challenges that you faced, and how did you recover?
As an actor, one of the strangest ones was dealing with my own stupid allergies.
Okay.
Which is something I wasn't anticipating.
Right.
Well, not entirely. I anticipated it in the sense that I did bring a lot of antihistamines with me.
Right.
Because I'm in the woods, a lot of trees around. My normal allergies, I'm assuming, would kick in. But I guess on top of just being in the environment, but there was the added stress of 10 days of filming. There was the added stress of not being able to sleep very well. I was in a different location than I normally would be.
You're in a room with
And all of a sudden, you know, my nose started to run, my eyes started to itch. I was just, I was miserable and grumpy, which was great for Beth because she was miserable and grumpy too. But it made keeping my makeup intact a little difficult. And you know, I was constantly having to haul off and clear my nose and empty my sinuses in between takes. It was just not something I was expecting.
Well, I couldn't tell, so.
No, me neither.
There you go, acting.
I guess wrapping all this entertainer talk, and I guess what do you like the most about being an entertainer or a performer, and has that changed over the years? Your particular favorite thing?
I don't think it's actually changed over the years. I'm not a the stereotypical actor type where it's like, look at me, I want all the attention, everybody has to look at me. I'm actually very, very shy that way. I don't necessarily want a lot of attention. I find it very difficult to do, for example, a curtain call and take a bow and accept applause or praise for what I'm doing. I find it very embarrassing. My main purpose as an actor is to be the bridge between the writer and his or her concept and their words, and bring that to the audience. I'm the bridge between that. And in between, there are other artistic contributions from directors and designers and that sort of thing that color the performance. But ultimately, it's my face they're seeing, it's my voice they are hearing, but they're not my words. Ultimately, the words come from another source. So if I do my job properly, then the audience conveys exactly what the writer intended in the first place. It's not my own personality being inserted into their dialogue.
Speaking of dialogue, Jason Terrio coming in with a Q&A question here. What was your favorite delivered line?
Oh my. This involves actually remembering a lot of the dialogue. It's been a year and a half. You're putting a lot of faith in my 50-year-old memory here.
I have a favorite line of yours.
Oh, do you?
Argument, and it comes sort of with a turn where it's like, I was hurting, says Julie, and then it goes.
What was it? You needed a change too.
She was like, I needed a change, or I needed a break. You needed to change too. It's like, it's right.
That's right. Yes, that's right. I remember that now. And I got right in her face with that.
And the finger delivery, the whole sort of like.
Yep.
It's good.
That was my mother coming out there. When I saw the dailies, that was the first thing I thought was, oh my God, parents.
I guess before we segue to just some other random topics to close out the live, do you have any, I guess, just feelings, thoughts, anything you want to share about the experience of making this film and its impact in your life?
Well, the film came at a very, very good time in my own life. I was going through a big transition at home. We were having a lot of stress. I was, about this close to a nervous breakdown just because I was under so much intense stress. And so having the 10 days away to think of nothing but the film, it was very focused, it was very concentrated and very, very intensive. But it was a fabulous distraction, and it gave me a chance to just settle and calm my mind, and it allowed me to make some big decisions that influenced everything that's gone on since, which has made it interesting. And 2020, on top of all of that, just added flavor to that. But the film all around was good, as far as giving me a way to refocus my own brain, my own thought processes. It introduced me to all of you people, which was fabulous. Really, I think the only one I knew prior to this, or the only two people I knew prior to this, were Greg and Mark Matthews,
Right.
who I had known through the comedy circuit prior to this. But meeting all of you was fabulous. I so miss you guys.
Yeah.
And, I can't wait until we can actually get people together in person again and, do a barbecue or something and just get together. Go back up to Tom Ray sometime.
Oh, yeah.
Spend another 10 days.
Shout out to Mark Matthews and his family for allowing us passage up to that beautiful location. And shout out to Matthews, who will be joining us on next week's live stream.
Whoa.
Oh, yay!
Take 2 with Mark Matthews.
Yeah, Victoria, we're very grateful that you were a part of the film, and thank you for joining us tonight. I guess.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me here.
Topic you wanted to ask Victoria about quickly before.
Yeah, just about claiming receipts and having a business, being able to expense things. Like, how much money are we that we're going to be getting back if we're, keeping all these receipts? If you have business expenses, within range of, not.
Well, it depends on exactly what you're expensing and, what kind of line items you're expensing against. You can probably get a whole bunch of GST or HST back.
Right.
So that's for sure. But, talk to me.
These are the answers.
Exactly.
What about chaos theory, wormholes, black holes, spooky action at a distance, all that sort of stuff, and theoretical physics?
Well, it's been a while since I've been active in that, so even my cosmology is a little out of practice.
We'll have to just discuss it.
I have been following things like the Mars expedition and the lunar probes and stuff like that.
Nice. Well,
and I was actually outside looking at the sky last night because there's a brand new nova sitting up there in the middle of Cassiopeia. Just discovered, so it basically just looks like a new star, which will be there for a couple of weeks.
I'm a scientist myself.
Are you now?
I'm trying to do Willem Dafoe and Spider-Man.
Yes.
Nick, give it a go.
You need to do the smile.
Nick can do it.
I'm something of a scientist myself.
There you go.
I'm surprised I was able to do that.
That's terrible.
Anyway.
As a former scientist myself, I was in biomedical science in first year, and then I switched.
Okay.
I'd like to thank you for being on this live stream.
Nice segue. Nice segue.
No, seriously. Victoria, I can't wait to get back together. And honestly, it was so much fun working with you on this film, and I loved seeing all the scenes come together in this rough cut. I watched it at our the post facility I work at in the movie theater, and just seeing everything. And it's just, ensemble cast here. Everybody's got had a role to play, and there's no. Yeah,
everyone's got incredible moments.
Balance is all around.
Yeah, that's a good script.
Yeah.
Good script will do that.
We're glad you finally got your own episode of the Wildfire live stream. And
Yay! I finally figured out technology. Yay!
Woo! We're always here.
Bogies are us.
Oh no! Thank you so much.
It only took a year?
It's we've been doing these since April, so we're coming up.
So almost a year.
Well, we'll get you back on in another year.
Okay, that's fair.
Thank you so much, Victoria. We'll hopefully see you sooner than later.
I hope so too.
And
good to see you today. Good to see you together.
Yes.
And good to see everybody out there.
Thank you.
Oh my.
Give me a hug.
Hugs. Oh.
Oh, I feel this.
I'm tapping the.
Feel the love. Feel the love.
Well, thank you, Victoria. Have a wonderful night.
You too, boys.
Talk to you soon.
We will.
Bye.
So
Thanks
Thanks,
guys.
everybody.
We have a very special announcement coming up. We already announced that Mark Matthews will be our guest on the next week of Wildfire live stream.
And
we have some more guests after that you may recognize, including our own
Jason Terrio and Richard Nester.
So the cat's out of the bag. We got a post coming soon that Mark Matthews.
I'll see you next week. I've been at home for 5 months. Buckle up. You may not recognize me.
Are you debuting a new look? You got a new hair?
Perhaps a wig.
Perhaps a wig. Well, yes, we have our next 3 live streams. Big announcement. This is the most planning we've ever done in advance. Mark Matt. Well, that's not true. Jade's always trying to line up guests, but we have the big 3. The boys are back.
In town.
Had them on before, and they're returning.
Yep.
Mark Matthews next week, Jason Terrio following, and Richard Ness after that. So we look forward to
the dudes of Wildfire.
Seeing where they've been since, I guess it was really April since we last had them on for proper, apart from the special. But,
Yep.
You know, we're very excited for that. Thank you to Victoria for joining us. It was awesome. Honestly, it was so good to talk to her and pick her brain on her Wildfire experience, because we hadn't really got a chance to get in on that. So,
and thank you to all our loyal audience members that have been tuning in every week and watching these live streams, and also everybody who's going to be watching this tomorrow who didn't make it to watch it right now, but they're watching it tomorrow.
You made it.
You made it tomorrow, and that's
you can watch it any day.
That's the whole coolest part. We're live, but
I love it.
We'll watch it later. Anyway,
that's all we got.
See you next week.
See you next week.